Hello everyone, welcome to Target45. My name is Jyoti. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please kindly subscribe to our channel because we are daily going to solve coding problems in Python. And as part of day 3, we are going to solve this pattern. So if we see this, in the first line we have 5 numbers continuously printed. In the second line, 1 number is missing. In the third line, 2 numbers are missing. Fourth line, 4 numbers are missing. 3 numbers are missing. And in the fifth line, 4 numbers are missing. And we have to code it in Python today. So if we see, we have numbers in the form 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it is printing in reverse. So the for loop is printed in reverse. So we have to start at 5, we have to stop at 0, and we have to decrement it by 1. So this is correct. What happens if we print I? Okay, we are getting it. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But we don't want this. What we want? So again, for each for loop, we need to use again inner for loop in order to print this pattern. So what do we need to do? We have to use internal for loop and we have to increment it from 1 to I. I mean, it has to stop when I value is, it has to stop at 6 here. So let's say initially I is 5. So it will go to like in the for loop for j in range of 1 to 5. But we don't want up to 5. We need 5 also. So I'm doing this plus 1 here. So we'll print j and we'll use end. Why am I using end? I am using end because if I don't use end, by default the print statement will go to next line. And we need to loop over this inner for loop and we need this pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pattern. So that is why I'm using this end here and telling that I want this to be printed in the same line. And once this for loop is completed, what I have to do? I have to use print, one more print statement, because it has to go to the next line here. Let's run this. See, our pattern is solved. Okay, what happens if I don't use this end here? We'll see. Will it work? It is working, but it is not working as a way we expected it to be, and it is not printing in this format. Okay, so that is why I'm using it. What if I don't use this print? See, again it is working, but it is not coming to the next line because I'm using end here and it is thinking that we have to print continuously. So I have to use print here also. So next go to this. So again, like the same pattern, instead of numbers, we have to print in the form of alphabets. Okay. So we already know that in order to represent alphabets, we have to use HR function to represent alphabets. And in ASCII table, as we discussed in day 1, 65 represents alphabet A, 66 represent B, and it continues. So with this knowledge, let's solve this. Again, it is the same. The explanation is the same. We have to go from 5 to 0, and it has to stop at 0 and decrement by 1. And we have to use a inner for loop and we have to range it from 1 to I plus 1. We have to print what? We have to use chr function here. We have to tell to chr function that from 64 to you have to combine it with sum it with I, and end is same. I explained about end, and we have to print this. That's it. Let's see. See, it's all. In the same way, we have to solve the star pattern. How we have to solve the star pattern? Same. We have to use the for loop. Same for loop, and we have to start at 5, stop at 0, decrement it by 1, and we have to do what here? Do we need one more for loop? No, we don't need it because we don't have any internal pattern. For numbers and alphabets, we have another pattern. One is printing this pattern, and another pattern is printing internal pattern also. So that is why for numbers and alphabets, we use two for loops, and here we don't need any two for loops. Instead, we can use single star and we need to multiply with I. So it will print that star that many number of times in a decrement form. So we solve upside down right angle triangle. In the same way, we are going to solve three more programs. The only difference is it is left aligned right angle triangle. What is the difference? If you can see, in the left side we have few spaces. So how can we do this change in this code? See, everything is same. The only difference is we have extra spaces. How can we add the spaces? Okay, let's paste this code because it is exactly the same. We need to understand where we have to do the change. Okay, where can we add the spaces? Can we add spaces inside the for loop? Will it make any difference? We cannot add here because we don't want any spaces in the internal for loop. We want spaces outside of the internal for loop. So the ideal way to write spaces is here. How can we write? We'll do space multiply by, we need to do what? 5 minus I. If we do, our problem is solved maybe, because we are saying we are subtracting from 5, that is I. So if I is 5, initially we don't need any spaces, and if this I is 4, we need one space. Maybe that is what we wanted, and this continues. So okay, let's print this. Here you go. This is what we wanted. In the same way, how can we do for alphabets? Again, same. There is no change. We just need to add space. Where do we need to add spaces? Again, before the for loop. There you go. Okay. How can we do the same for star pattern? What do we need to do? We need to write the for loop. We have to stop at 0 and we have to decrement by 1, and we have to print. We need a space. We have to multiply with 5 minus I, and we need to print the stars here. So star into I times star. We need I times star and we need spaces, and the logic is this. Okay, let's see what's happening. There you go. It is solved. So totally we solved 6 patterns today with a simple difference. I mean, in the code we can solve many things, and it's always good to debug the code to understand how it is doing. And if you want more number of coding problems like this, please kindly subscribe to Target 45, and we are going to solve many problems like this. And if you have any doubts or questions, please kindly comment in the comment section. Thank you.